This is CNN.
Remember that kidnapping in Cleveland, Ohio a few years ago?
Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Well, back in May of 2013, CNN, with all the false urgency of a 24 hours news network, featured a segment of in-field reporting, with Nancy Grace live from a parking lot in Phoenix, Arizona, corresponding via satellite with Ashley Banfield, live from the same parking lot in Phoenix. Notice how the cars passing by Ashley Banfield's location box also appear to be passing directly into Nancy Grace's box. In fact, according to The Atlantic, Banfield and Grace were standing only 6 parking spaces away from each other.
Whether it was a voluntary captivity by
Gotta give them props though for attempting to maintain the illusion of not standing right next to each other.
or locks. And in that respect, are you surprised that they're not telling us this yet?
I'm hearing you correctly.
In summer of 2011, while covering a story about a badass 103-year-old black lady who could still drive, this happened.
Ain't no crippin', ain't no punk ass nigga said trippin'. Everybody got a stack and it ain't no crack.
Now, on the note of music, we aired some music just a few minutes ago, and obviously, for those of you that heard it, it was the wrong music that aired, and we apologize for that.
I actually wish this one wasn't a mistake. Just at the start of January this year, when talking about Russian hackers, again, CNN broadcast footage of a computer hacking taking place. Only thing is this hacking was a clip from the Bethesda game Fallout 4. CNN's coverage of the Chicago torture incident a couple weeks ago is a classic example of imagine if the roles were reversed. Ignoring the fact that the perpetrators of the kidnapping on numerous occasions during their live stream on Facebook can be heard saying stuff like "Fuck Donald Trump, nigga," and "Fuck white people." CNN contributor Simone Sanders and anchor Don Lemon both flat out refused to call the incident a hate crime.
Your political leanings, because someone doesn't like your political leanings and they do something bad to you, that is not a hate crime.
Alice, even
Honestly, I think the very existence of these laws is a
Savage hypocrisy.
When WikiLeaks released the emails they obtained from the DNC this October during the 2016 presidential race, CNN oddly, and falsely, warned its viewers not to look up the emails themselves as it would be illegal.
Remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media, so everything you learn about this, you're learning from us. And in full disclosure, let's take a look at what is in there and what it means. Joining us now.
It's almost like they were trying to discourage their audience from finding out certain things about a certain somebody.
dude, nigger, honky, cracker. These
Double standards alert, you can say nigger on CNN, but only sometimes.
Nigger, please. Like, they said that on television.
Don't choose as a White House counselor a man who uses the word whose wife says that
All right, gentlemen, we're done. I appreciate both your voices. I am still, the more I've sat here and listened to the fact that somebody used the N-word on this show, it is not okay.
Air traffic controllers in Southeast Asia.
In the now infamous CNN coverage of that missing Malaysian Airlines plane, we were given a dramatic close-up of a news network that had run out of things to say. In place of actual substance, we were treated to CGI floor maps, big fake airplanes, little fake airplanes, holographic airplanes, and newsmen literally telling us what an airplane looks like.
A plane like this is around 61, 62 meters end to end, 61, 62 side to side.
And yes, in their search for the missing plane, CNN wasn't even afraid to delve into the supernatural.
What else can you think about black hole, Bermuda Triangle? And then Deji says, just like the movie Lost. I know it's preposterous, but is it preposterous, you think, Mary?
A small black hole would suck in our entire universe, so we know it's not that. Bermuda Triangle is often weather, and Lost is a TV show.
Aliens stole Flight 370.
This one, covering what came to be known as the fappening, is pretty self-explanatory.
Do we even know who is this 4chan?
He may have been just a system administrator. I'm just gonna run this password app.
Morons. The hacker's name is Reddit.
Absolutely have to have good password.
How many times does this one have to be debunked before they'll shut up about it?
He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability. Take a look.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
That reporter he is talking about is Serge Kovaleski, who now works for the New York Times. As you can see right there, he suffers from a chronic condition that impairs movement of his arm.
Here he is doing the same flustered flailing of the limbs for bank CEOs.
I mentioned the word regulated. These guys come in, they run the banks.
Incompetent generals.
What do you think about ISIS? Oh, ISIS is very tough.
And Ted Cruz.
Cruz, what do you think of waterboarding? I don't want to talk about it. You know, he didn't want to talk about waterboarding.
What's happening, baby? Can I tell you something? You made the right choice. You are leaving this place. You know what you are? You're the last guy out of a burning building, my friend.
John!
You are...
Stop!
CNN's 11th biggest fail is the limey they brought to replace Larry King. Already the biggest dildo in the UK, Piers Morgan brought his signature douchebaggery over the Atlantic to become Primetime's most irritating news host.
The viewer's got the wrong idea by this vindictive attack on me, personally. Carry on.
You're feeling a bit vulnerable.
You're invading my privacy. I demand my privacy.
Okay, we won't talk to you again then.
Whatever side of the gun issue you stand on, you can surely agree that this guy's arguments are moronic.
Explain this to me, Senator. Look, do you know what this is?
Absolutely, I've seen those and actually ate them when I was growing up. It's Kinder Surprise egg.
You realise they're illegal, not just in Oklahoma, but in the whole of America. Probably breaking the law just by holding one. Do you know why they're illegal?
Because the government has interfered and is trying to protect us from ourselves.
Right, because they're a health hazard. Get the irony?
What is the irony?
Poor old Piers ended up so unpopular that a petition was started gathering over 100,000 signatures to deport him back to where he came from. Unfortunately, the Brits didn't want him back.
One of the hosts of the BBC's car show Top Gear was quick to jump into the fray, tweeting, quote, "Americans, it took us 40 years to get rid of Piers Morgan. Please don't send him back."
Be careful what you say live on CNN.
Justice reform because of her support in the 1990s for anti-crime legislation that ultimately helped contribute to this era of mass incarceration that she now speaks out again.
We just lost Breonna Keeler, who would...
Satellite feeds are liable to randomly cut out.
Hillary Clinton's a liar. She can't be trusted. And now the two faces of Hillary Clinton are coming out. In fact, through WikiLeaks, that she says one thing and...
Oh, no. All right, let's see if we can get Congressman Collins back. Obviously, we just lost the satellite feed. That sucks.
It's moments like these that right-wing groups are pouncing on to push the narrative that Hillary Clinton's health is failing.
Now this was embarrassing. Throughout the summer of 2016, CNN went to great lengths to refute what they called conspiracy theories about Hillary Clinton's bad health.
She boarded an airplane. They suggest it all points to her being sick. Conspiracy theorists are also obsessed with Clinton's cough on the campaign trail, her long bathroom break during the ABC debate.
Even after the release of this video on September 11th, CNN insisted that the Democrat candidate was totally fine and that it was sexist to question
Things that they're
otherwise.
pointing to, I don't think support it. And honestly, I think there's an element of sexism to this. The way that they've talked about her, the way you watch Drudge posting things about granny and grandma. Well, Donald Trump's a grandpa. So what's the idea here that somehow because she's a woman and she's a grandma that she's frail?
Hey, remember that video you saw of Sybil Smith during the Milwaukee riots calling for peace?
With his sister calling for peace.
Don't bring the violence here and the ignorance here.
Turns out CNN left out this important part.
Y'all burning down shit we need in our community. Take that shit to the suburbs. Burn that shit down. We need our shit. Don't bring the
that America already is great, but we are great because we are good.
America's great.
Hear that?
America's great.
She stated that America is already great, and I tend to agree with that, though we are
You know, it was almost like they were trying to get caught in this one.
We need to continue the momentum.
If you've made it this far into the video, you're probably starting to notice a trend here.
CNN, where you used to work, yes, asked the DNC, hey, we're going to do interviews with Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. Yeah. Could you guys help us out?
Many viewers also noticed this over the course of 2016.
That we see from the Clinton News Network.
But it wasn't until WikiLeaks released the emails of John Podesta, chairman of the Clinton campaign, that we had definitive proof of collusion between CNN and the Clinton camp. Personalities like Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper contacted the DNC before interviews they conducted with Donald Trump, seeing if the Democrats wanted them to ask him any special questions.
This is what the email said specifically. Wolf Blitzer is interviewing Trump on Tuesday ahead of his foreign policy address on Wednesday. Please send me thoughts by 10:30 a.m. tomorrow.
CNN reached new lows in their coverage of the Boston Marathon bombing. Field reporters waved frantically at the cameras only to report nothing.
Something just happened. We don't know what it is.
Or to describe what a few cars were doing.
A couple of cars are now beginning to move. You've got cars going straight. You've got cars peeling to the right.
At one point, they even reported this.
One of the canine dogs barking. Interesting, that dog is barking. At least the third canine dog. They began barking very, very loudly.
Yep, CNN. That's what dogs do. Sometimes the little shits just bark at nothing. They also out of nowhere reported that an arrest was made, only to walk it back moments later.
Those debates are less important than the sky.
Juliet, we're getting some conflicting reports about an arrest. We have Tom Fuentes with us right now.
There has been no arrest, and in fact, a suspect has not been identified by name yet.
The streets are empty. It's eerie. It's as though a bomb had dropped somewhere.
About claims of Russian efforts to compromise President-elect Trump.
While the blame for Golden Showers Gate lies mainly with BuzzFeed, CNN should have stayed well clear of this story that even MSNBC called bullshit.
But you just published fake news.
We just published a dossier. No, I think that's a really...
Why is that not a fair... Why is that an unfair description?
The Trump dossier was full of spelling errors and factual inaccuracies. Notably the claim that Trump's lawyer Michael Cohen met with Russian agents in Prague at the exact same time he was seen by numerous witnesses touring the USC campus in California.
Let me just make one other point.
Consistent with their record, CNN claimed, oh well, it was a different Michael Cohen.
It talks about Michael Cohen, Trump's official corporate lawyer, making a trip to the Czech Republic. My reporting suggests that people did try to run that down. They did. And they concluded that it was a different Michael Cohen.
Not to mention Trump is a germaphobe.
Does anyone really believe that story? I'm also very much of a germaphobe, by the way. Believe me.
After the shooting of Michael Brown by police in Ferguson, Missouri, an event that kick-started days of riots, a rumor went around that Brown had raised his hands and shouted, "Don't shoot!" before being gunned down. The rumor turned out to be false, but that didn't stop our good old friends at CNN perpetuating it.
We want you to know that our hearts are out there marching with them. Please tweet us your comments. Poppy Harlow is
Nice
next.
one, CNN. You really helped put a stop to the violence with that one. Donna Brazile, former chairperson of the DNC, made headlines in late October 2016 after revelations from WikiLeaks that CNN had been feeding her questions prior to town halls and even debates to give to Hillary Clinton. This, among other establishment trick, put Bernie Sanders at a disadvantage when running for the Democrat Party nomination. Who knows, had there been an even playing field, Bernie might have won, despite the fact he's a Jew, a socialist, and a 100. This is the #1 biggest CNN fail, because it very well could have cost Mitt Romney the 2012 election. Back when polls actually meant something, the Republican candidate was doing very well against incumbent Barack Obama. Until this happened.
It took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
He did call it an act of terror.
CNN moderator Candy Crowley falsely fact-checked Romney and made him look like a total asshat. Yeah, I get it. If he was gonna be president, he should have been able to handle something like this a little bit better, but come on. Obama didn't call Benghazi an act of terror. In fact, for 2 weeks he was blaming it on this video.
Scandal with my servant.
Please, don't tell Aisha. I will make your father Caliph of the Muslims.
Oh, that Muhammad. Only thing Obama called an act of terror was the real 9/11. Seeing as he was giving a speech commemorating its anniversary, Candy Crowley later apologized, but the damage was done.
You're totally correct that they spent 2 weeks telling us this was about a tape and that there was this riot outside the Benghazi consulate, which there wasn't.
Mitt Romney looked like an idiot. Obama went on to win the 2012 election, and now Trump is president. You happy, CNN? If you feel like you've been thoroughly disinformed by this video, please like and subscribe. And also, if you find the time, click the links in the description below to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. Literally only started the Facebook a couple of days ago, so I'd really appreciate the help. Praise Keck, and thank you.